Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you all for braving the weather and being here. May Allah accept it from all of us, and please drive slowly and carefully when you're going home. Nahmadu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem. Just briefly, I wanted to mention one story of one of the most famous sages and teachers and ascetics of Islamic history, Bishr al-Hafi. He became very famous, but he describes how most of his life he was just a regular guy. He was an ordinary person. And one day he was leaving his house, and when he exited and went onto the street, he noticed that there was a piece of paper or there was a piece of parchment in which Allah's name was written. And so maybe he thought to himself, وَكَلِمَةُ اللَّهِ هِيَ الْعُلْيَا, that the word of Allah is the most supreme. I thought of this because at the very beginning of tonight's, in the first rak'ah, Qari Anas recited from Surah Al-Imran that Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum, which is just similar like Ayatul Kursi, which is written in the calligraphy there, in which Allah, before delving into Ahl al-Kitab, the people of the book, He affirms Tawheed and affirms the oneness of Allah and His attributes. And so he must have thought to himself that Allah's name is being trampled upon, let me pick it up. So he took that writing and he went back into his house and he put it on the mantle. And he went about his day and he continued to throughout all the things he needed to do, and he didn't think about it again. And then later on that day he had a vision and he heard a voice. That this is the description that he gives. That the voice told him that today you took my name and you made it high, and you kept it high. And so now, today, from this day on, I will make your name remembered until the day of judgment among the righteous people. And so he said when he heard that voice and he saw that, he dedicated himself and he thought there must be a meaning, there must be a purpose behind it. So he started to change his ways. He started to alter his behavior. And then step by step, he became more pious. He sat in the majalis, the circles of learning, the halaqat of dhikr, of remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, until people well regarded him and people would come from far off in order to sit with him and to learn from him. The reason I mention this is because sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts you in a place in your life in which you have to make a choice. And in that moment, you might think, well, why am I put in this position? But in a way, Allah is choosing you. As Ibn Ata'illah mentioned, إِذَا أَرَدْتَ أَن تَعْلَمْ مَقَامَكَ, that if you would like to know your value in the sight of Allah, how Allah sees you. Because sometimes we become so obsessed with, well, how do people see me? Am I understood? Am I being judged? Yes, you're being judged because everybody's judging. No matter how much we try not to, right? Some people are more judgmental than others. That's a fact, right? But everybody is judging somebody. But the reality is that that judgment doesn't matter, because those people are not paying your bills. They're not going to, in most cases, they're not going to help you when you have a real problem. But we put so much energy into how other people perceive us. And there are some people, kam min majhulun, how many unknown people are walking the earth, but they're famous fi sama, but they're very well known among the angels. And how many people that are very famous on this world, they're celebrities, they're influencers, they have so many followers, but the angels, they don't hold them in high regard. So if you want to know your value, if you want to know your worth in the sight of Allah, فَانظُرْ حَيْثُ أَقَامَكَ, then see where Allah has put you. If Allah has put you in a community where you can learn, where you can have a relationship with Allah, if He has surrounded you with friends and with colleagues and with family members that make you better, then that means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sweetening you, that Allah wants good for you. So this is a reminder for myself and for all of you that there are people who will bring you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there will be people who will take you away, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. At the end of the day, it's your choice, because Allah will put you in positions, but then you still have to make a decision. In that moment, Bishr al-Hafi, he made a split-second decision that raising Allah's name is more important than what he was about to do, and because of that Allah raised him. وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ, whoever magnifies, right, the symbols of Allah, the signs of Allah, the rituals of Allah, فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ, that itself is an indication of the piety in the heart. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He instills that in our hearts, in our actions, and make us true to those values. We ask Allah that He protects us and our family, that all of us return back safely to our homes, and that all of the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is protected and safe. Wa sallallahu wa sallim ala nabiyyina wa habibina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. I would encourage you, I think Salat al-Fajr most likely we will be canceling, but even if we don't, it doesn't matter, please don't come. Pray in your homes, inshallah you'll get the full reward because of the intention. It won't be safe.